Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. We are having a look at another devblog today for War Thunder, and this time it's time to have a look at all of the new Hornets that are coming in this major update. We have the CF-188A, and we also have two Australian Air Force FA-18s that are coming in too. The FA-18A early and also the FA-18A late. Now the CF-188A, which is the Canadian Hornet, is a pre-order pack premium. So you can get that for the British tree to be able to grind it through. If you want to get access to it and also get a discount and support the channel, I'll leave a link in the description and also in the pinned comment, which will be there. Just to let you know that we'll be changing the decal pretty soon that you can get access to. So if you haven't picked it up yet, might be worth doing right now. In this video, we'll have a look at the pack and also have a look at the other Hornets that are going to be available for the British. Another thing to also mention is the dev streams are going to be happening today. So we'll be covering those two over on Twitch. So make sure to come along and hang out. And if you can't, that's fine. We'll be uploading all the stuff on YouTube afterwards as well. As always, if you enjoy the content, make sure to subscribe and also like the video. Let's get started. So the first thing I thought we would have a look at is the CF-188A, since this is the pre-order pack which is coming in. In the pack itself, you get the Rank 8 CF-188A Hornet. This will obviously be fantastic for grinding out the whole of the British tech tree, since it is at Rank 8. It also will give you 3,000 Golden Eagles and also 30 days of premium accounts, and also some pre-order bonuses. You'll get the Mad as a Hornet title, which I think is fantastic, the pre-order bonus of the Hornet Sting decal, and also you'll get the 410th Squadron Cougars 50th anniversary camouflage of the RCAF, which once again looks really nice. It kind of looks like a German camo in a way, but overall I think it's pretty cool. So when it comes to this vehicle, it'll get access to all the kind of standard stuff that the Hornet premiums get. You get the AIM-7P, the AIM-9L, and then also access to a bunch of dumb bombs, Zunis and CVR-7s, laser-guided bombs, including debut 10, 12, 16, and 24 paveways, and then also you get some Mavericks too, with a targeting pod on top of it. So basically, you're just getting a lot of cool stuff on it, which is very similar to the other premium vehicles that we've had in the game. The only difference is the Canadian one, of course, is in the British tech tree. Let's get into the history of these Hornets. In the 1970s, Canada, like many other countries, faced a choice of where to go with the modernization of its jet fighter fleet. Operating three aging types with the CF-101, the CF-104, and also the CF-116, or the F-5, a drastic upgrade and streamline was needed for the Royal Canadian Air Force to defend its skies and operate across its vast, often cold territory. Canada considered many options, like the Tornado, Mirage F1, and also the American roster of F-14, F-15, 16, and also 18. While the F-14 came very close, geopolitics and cost led to the FA-18 being selected as the winner in 1980. Its characteristics already met the needs of Canadian operations, having a durable undercarriage for rough landings, twin engines for extra reliability, and a suitable range of the vastness of its operational coverage. The carrier-borne routes of the Hornet perfectly suited the Canadian requirements. Canadian Hornets feature several modifications both internally and also externally, such as lights and other bespoke changes. CF-188s have taken part in operations in the Gulf Wars, Yugoslavia, NATO peacekeeping, and even most recently, operations in the Middle East. Life extension programs have upgraded and will continue to keep the Hornet in Canadian service until a replacement can be procured. Australia, with a much similar mission to Canada, needed to modernize its fleet of Mirage 3 fighters, with the considerations as far back as 1968 on the future fighter of the Royal Australian Air Force. It was not until the 1980s that the Hornets would ultimately come through as the candidate to replace them after assessing many of the same aircraft that Canada did. After allowing its preferred options in the F-16 and F-18 to mature somewhat, the decision was ultimately made to go with the FA-18 as it became. Domestically, assembly would take place in Australia, with Government Aircraft Factories, or GAF, and Commonwealth Aircraft Corporation, or CAC, both participating in production and also assembly. Hornets began to enter RAAF service in 1985 and have since been upgraded several times with the Hornet upgrade program, introducing new weaponry, systems, structural reworks, and also hardware improvements. So with 3 versions of the Hornet coming to the British tech tree, it is another nation which is getting the Hornet. It seems like pretty much most nations are going to end up with this thing at the end of the day, but it is one of those which is exported to quite a lot. I think so far in the game we have them in the American tech tree, the Swedish tech tree, and then also the German tech tree. So this will be a 4th one where they turn up, and they're turning up in a big way, you know, with the CF-18 coming in, the CF-188A specifically. It uses the ANAAS-38B targeting pod. This means that it won't just be good in kind of air-to-air combat with its AIM-7Ps and AIM-9Ls, it'll also have a use in ground battles with all of the guided munitions it gets access to, including the AGM-65Ds and Gs, and also all of the GBU paveways that it has. It also gets some rockets and napalm bombs, so if you want to bomb bases, you can do with it, and also, of course, the 20mm. That is there too. So basically, you just get a bunch of really interesting things to it. And the reason why it doesn't get the active radar homing missile is because they want to keep it low in BR, so therefore it's a little bit better for the premium players. It's the same reason why when you have a look at the American tech tree, for example, you have basically the same deal, where you have a situation where you have the premium one, which is the FA-18C early, and then you have the FA-18 Hornet, which is also there, and one has the AIM-7Ms, one has, I believe, the AIM-7Ps. The reason why is just to try and make it so you have slightly different BR vehicles, which fill slightly different roles. There's no point in giving everything the same, because basically you'll just be able to only run one, because why would you run any of the others since they're all the same? Now, the AIM-7P itself, it has data link and also inertial guidance, which means even if your aircraft loses radar lock, you can require lock at a later stage, and the missile will continue on its path once reconnected. This is obviously really useful, since a lot of missiles, once you lose lock, if you lose it long enough, like a couple more seconds, then what ends up happening is it just dies. Where this one, it can be redirected as it goes around. So this means that you can actually hit stuff at further distances, even if you lose lock, which is kind of crazy. The only thing that this vehicle is missing is kind of the AIM-9M, which would be nice, because of the simple fact that, well, the AIM-9L is there. The AIM-9M is just the AIM-9L with a smokeless motor, but also access to IRCCM, which makes a huge difference for these types of things. So one of the problems also with the British tech tree is if you actually have a look at certain BRs of it, it kind of struggles. You know, you have the Phantoms, which are at 12.0. They're probably the worst Phantoms at 12.0, unfortunately. You also have access to the F-111C, which was really nice to see, but once again, just not very good at its BR. And then you have stuff like the Harrier at 12.3 and the Tornado F3 at 12.0. All of these vehicles are kind of in a bit of a weird place, is probably the best way of putting it. Like they're vehicles which don't really fit the meta as well. Whereas the Hornets, of course, especially since you have the premium one and also the Australian ones, these will fit the meta a lot better and be quite a lot nicer. For example, you have the RAAF FA-18A early, which seems pretty similar to the standard kind of earlier Hornets that you get in the other parts of the game. You have access to the AIM-9L once again, you have the AIM-7M and F variant, so it's going to be around that 12.3 BR, and then also it gets access to the AGM-62 ERDL TV guided bombs, which would be very fun. Then you have the late version, which is a HUG2 Plus upgrade. This gets the Lightning targeting pod, it gets JDAMs, it obviously gets the AMRAMs, AIM-120Cs, it should be C5s, it should be able to carry 10 of them, and then also a bunch of the other kind of crazy weapons as well. So they're following pretty much the same pattern as what you see in the American tech tree with their 3 Hornets. You have the FA-18A, the FA-18C, and then also the FA-18C early. These vehicles feel very similar to them. There'll be slight differences in characteristics, but it looks like they're doing exactly the same thing to the British tech tree that they did to the American one. And, you know, it makes a lot more sense to do it in the British tech tree because the British tech tree doesn't have as powerful vehicles as the American one does at these specific BRs. So hopefully this gives a good boost to the British tech tree. One of the problems, once again, about doing stuff like this, though, is it's literally just like grinding out the same stuff over and over again if you've already played other tech trees, and there's still no kind of decreases that have come in to try and make it easier for people to be able to do it. And that just sucks. You know, I wish that wasn't the case, but here we are at the end of the day. It would be much better if that wasn't the case, and hopefully they can start giving different stuff, and hopefully they can start giving different like research bonuses or, you know, something like that, just to give people incentives to play these things. But who knows? You know, life goes on with this stuff. I hope it happens. Will it happen? Probably not. The main thing is the British tech tree is becoming on par with other tech trees, and that, at least in my opinion, is pretty positive. As always, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. I'd just like to thank GMG Smiley, CD Beans, Chieftain Mike, EMN3 Galaxy, Tulio Pontecorvo, Brendan Quinn, Carrion Crow, Gus Irenicus, Pyman, Wartinder, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, Martinez, B. Young, Aussie Panzer, Alan Hacker, Liam Shear, Opium Prime, Lafouche, Sem, Aslan, Uncle Bean, and Derek R. for supporting the channel.